Hey movie junkies, welcome back to Twin Flicks, where we always here celebrating the magic of movies and most importantly physical media with you guys. Now a few days ago I received two 70s horror classics, both released from Shout Factory, and that is Carrie 4K UHD and Black Christmas. Carrie should be up now. If you want to check that out, head over to the link after this video. But today we're going to talk about Black Christmas. Now, Black Christmas has been newly restored with a new 4K restoration from the original camera negative, forming a new native 4K DI with the added benefits of HDR10 Plus and Dolby Vision grading. And while the previous released Blu-ray that I believe came out in 2016, it looked decent. I didn't really have a problem with it. It did have a 4K scan from the negative. But there definitely needed some improvements that I get into in this review. So let's check it out and compare the differences here between the 4K UHD and the Blu-ray. Take a look at all the new improvements, and as usual I have some screenshots here that you can compare the differences for yourself. So let's get to it. Now first off, something you have to keep in mind. Black Christmas was an independently made exploitation horror film that's always been rough around the edges. And with that comes inherited heavy grain presence, some muddy shadows that's been persistent throughout every home media release, so that rougher image will always be there. However, when comparing this UHD to the previous 2016 Blu-ray, it's clearly obvious. Shout Factory put their work into this one without sacrificing any part of the original source material, which means the grain is still quite heavy, but it's not as drastic as the previous releases. Plus, that heavy grain and rough appearance look, I think, really gives the movie a lot more charm to it. But hands down, this is the best I've ever seen Black Christmas look. Another big issue with all previous releases, including 2016 Blu-ray, was very weak image stability that included that terrible frame juddering, especially during the opening titles. That has also been cleaned up, giving us a very nice, stable image. Titles and transitions look rock solid that I was really happy with. This film, of course, as we all know, is majority of the time set at night and was shot that way, giving a dark and gloomy presentation. And so I was really curious how well the HDR Dolby Vision grading will handle the very dark and shadowy scenes. And my concerns were very quickly put to rest here. The HDR Dolby Vision grading does not make any changes to the intended look. Instead, it only enhances what's already there, meaning the black levels are greatly improved with very nice, deeper, inky blacks. There are also deeper velvety shadows and improved shading that draws out much more depth and detail to every frame, even in the darkest spaces, without ever diminishing the source material in any way. Color reproduction is just extraordinary, with much better balanced hues and tones and consistent saturation and contrast levels. Primaries are fantastic without it being overly saturated, unlike the previous Blu-ray. Reds are a deeper cherry or crimson red, yellows are richer, and the various brown shading looks impressively better. And the mid-70s clothing styles has some real nice pop to the colors within the clothes. But I think the major standout here, and it just shows how excellent this UHD truly is against the previously released Blu-ray, is with the Christmas lights strung around various locations and the wreath on the door. We now have a very nice twinkle to the lights and colors that pop and a nice slight glow around them. Also, daytime scenes are brighter and offers clean, pure white snow, which makes a great contrast to the dark and gloomy scenes. The detail levels on this are extraordinary, with tighter, cleaner lines and finer details. Skin textures and facial close-ups reveals imperfections, lines, makeup, you name it, it's all there. Objects in the foreground and background are more active and visible and have some nice shine to them. We can also now make out stitching of clothing, fabric of furniture, textures on walls and wallpaper. But even with all these beautiful improvements, you're still, as I said at the top of this video, going to get that rough, grainy, and gloomy image that was all baked into the camera negative, so there's no way around it. It was all inherited. The intention Bob Clark had was never to give the audience a colorful, radiant film in the first place. That said, this is an impressively well-maintained and crafted native 4K UHD experience that I was very happy and impressed with. And again, this is the best Black Christmas has ever looked, and I don't see how it could look better than this. Now, along with the image quality, the audio also received a very nice facelift. Now, the 2016 Blu-ray honestly had some major audio issues that many fans of the film noted and complained about, and rightly so. Shout Factory went back in and fixed all these problems with a newly restored 2022 mono and also 5.1 lossless tracks taken from the original audio elements. And now we have it sounding the way it should sound, unlike the 2016 Blu-ray. The 5.1 track does a great job, especially opening up the soundstage with atmospheric and dimensionality, but I found myself always kind of switching back to the mono track. I honestly think the mono track just sounds more authentic to the intended mix, and it's also more of an intimate, tighter mix that feels like a more claustrophobic experience, which it should while you're watching this film. In the end, either track works great, and both have a lot of clarity and presence to them, and dialogue is rendered clear on both tracks, and music nor sound effects ever suppress the dialogue. So I'm giving Shout Factory's 4K UHD presentation of Black Christmas, the video, a 4.5 out of 5, and the audio a 5 out of 5. This is a terrific UHD presentation, and definitely a major upgrade from the previous 2016 Blu-ray. But now head over to the comment section because I want to hear from you. When you compare the differences here between the two formats, the Blu-ray and the 4K, which do you think looks better? Or do you see any comparison at all? Let me know over in the comments. Well, thanks for hanging out with me for a few minutes here and comparing and reviewing Black Christmas against the previous Blu-ray. As always, keep physical media alive, and I'll see you next time.